Good evening, my name is Josh Devine. The last name is spelled D-E, capital V, as in Victory, I-N-E. I'm the Communications Director for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. As many of you know, we're dealing with a tragic situation that unfolded here in Sumner County. However, the priority at this very moment is in locating a person of interest who we believe may be armed and may be very dangerous. And that is why we are urging the public to be on the lookout this evening for Michael Cummins. We put his picture on Twitter a bit earlier this evening. Some additional information about him. He is a white man. Date of birth of September 8th, 1993. Stands 5 foot 7 inches tall. Weighs 180 pounds. Has brown hair and blue eyes. Again, I want to be very clear. At this junction, he is a person of interest in what has transpired here. And let me briefly bring you up to speed on some of the preliminary details that we have to offer in that regard. And I'll be honest with you, we don't know a whole lot at this point. We are just getting here to the scene. Our scientists are just now beginning the difficult work ahead of them. We will be here for what will surely be a long night for many in the law enforcement community. Again, as you know, there have been 5 homicides between 2 different locations. 4 individuals were found deceased in a home in the 1100 block of Charles Brown Road. A 5th individual was found deceased in a home in the 1500 block of Luby Brown Road. At this point, we have no information to provide about the identities of the victims. We don't have information at this point to provide about their ages or their genders. We are working to gather those details and we'll provide them as soon as we can. And of course, as soon as we're able to make sure that their next of kin have been appropriately notified. That's where we stand at this point. This is a massive, at this point, law enforcement effort right now to find Michael Cummins, the person of interest in connection right now to these homicides. We would urge residents in this immediate area to be on the lookout. We would urge them to be on alert, to have extreme caution, to make sure they know what this individual looks like, to call their family, call their neighbors, make sure people who live in this immediate area know about this situation, know who this individual is, know what he looks like, and most importantly, know what to do if they spot him. And that is to simply call 911 immediately. Law enforcement has flooded this area from a variety of agencies, TBI, THP, of course authorities from across Sumner County. We are currently working to also have the assistance of our federal counterparts in locating this individual. TBI also has a team of forensic scientists who are here on the scene, beginning the arduous task of collecting evidence and documenting these crime scenes. We will continue to do that work as long as it takes, and in turn we will submit our investigative findings over to the District Attorney General for his further review. That's where things stand at this point. I realize you will have a lot of questions and I'll do my best to answer them, but I hope that you will bear with us and give us a little bit of patience. Obviously there's the investigative piece that's still to come, but again the priority at this very moment is trying to locate and bring into custody the person of interest in connection with these crimes, and that is Michael Cummins. Questions?
Can you comment if the person of interest had any relation to the victims?
Not at this point. Of course, those will certainly be questions that we'll want to answer once we're able to positively identify the individuals and see what potentially he might have in terms of a relationship.
Is Michael Cummins from this area?
I don't know at this point.
What about weapons used? Do we have any idea how
Not at this point, no.
Can you comment on if the person of interest suffers from any physical or mental disabilities?
No, I can't. Not at this point.
We're hearing reports that there were children involved.
I'm unaware of that at this point. I'm working to pin down some of those details. I realize you will want to know, even generally speaking, about the ages and the genders of those who might be the victims, and so I'm working to pull that together, and if I can get an update before the late news tonight at 10, I'll certainly try to do so.
Do you all know if he's only traveling by foot? Is he possibly in a car at this point?
Again, we just don't know. Our best guess is that he might very well be on foot. And so that's why we're urging residents to be on the lookout in this immediate area. We don't know that he hasn't perhaps hitchhiked away from here. It's a possibility. But in due caution, knowing what we know right now, we feel it's necessary to urge the public in the immediate area to be on alert.
Is there a helicopter involved in the search?
I do believe THP has had their helicopter up in the search tonight.
Why person of interest instead of suspect at this point?
He's not been criminally charged. We've not secured warrants for him. At this point, we're just calling him a person of interest.
Has the search radius extended beyond Sumner County at this point?
Not at this point, but that's a possibility as we move forward.
How big is that search radius right now?
We're just now trying to get our handle on that, right? So we're basically saying in the early hours, we wanted folks in those immediate neighborhoods, right, to be on alert. But as time goes on, of course, we'll be expanding that radius. Folks are right now just beginning the work of pulling out maps to document. I've been to the scene. I will tell you it is a very rural area, very densely wooded. There would be potentially plenty of places for this individual to stoop down and hide for the night.
Are there roadblocks going up right now throughout the county?
I've heard that there might potentially be that in process, but I don't have any specifics to offer. Let me try to get some clarity on that for you.
Earlier I saw officers going to a few homes. Are they asking neighbors in this area about the person of interest?
I'm unaware of that, but presumably that would be something that would be reasonable in this point, right? To canvass, to go door to door to make sure people know about this, but I know of no specific effort on that regard at this point.
Have you been to the scene?
I have.
What's the nature of the scene? Is this one of the more gruesome scenes you have visited in your career?
I haven't been inside the scene.
Okay.
I've just been to the outside location.
How far apart are these two scenes?
I'm sorry?
How far apart are the two scenes?
The distance?
A mile?
I don't know at this point. I can certainly map it out and figure that out for you, but I haven't had a chance to look at that.
What criminal record for him?
I don't know at this point. That's another detail that I'm trying to pin down for you.
Can you comment on who made the 911 call, how authorities were alerted to this happening?
Not at this point. Again, one of those things I'm trying to gather from our folks.
What time was the 911 call?
I don't know right now.
Just to clarify, 4 bodies in one home, 1 in a separate home?
That's correct.
Around what time did this investigation start?
Right, so TB, I got notification right around 5:25, 5:30. I don't know an exact time as to when 911 might have been notified. Let me try to pin that down for you.
Can you repeat his first and last name, the pronunciation,
Sure.
and his physical stats?
Michael Cummins is his name. And again, he is a white man, date of birth, September 8th of 1993. Stands 5 foot 7 inches tall, weighs 180 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. And again, person of interest is the terminology we're using at this point.
Are there any thoughts that somebody may be helping him?
We don't know. We don't know.
Have you talked to neighbors?
I'm sorry, could you speak louder?
In terms of talking to neighbors and talking to people, have you heard anything from them? What have they told you?
I haven't heard of anything in that regard at this point.
Obviously a massive search. Would you have an estimate on the number of law enforcement officials that are involved right now?
Just speaking anecdotally from what I've seen, I would say it's safe to say 100, 150 at this point. Obviously the call's going out. We're trying to make sure that folks are well rested, realizing that this might be something that goes through the night into tomorrow. So I think you could expect to see that continuing to ramp up as we go.
Should people in this area take any precautions overnight as you all look for this person of interest?
Well, I think certainly common sense is going to be your best friend, right? So make sure that your doors are locked. Make sure that if someone knocks on your door in the middle of the night that you don't just throw open the door. Ask some questions. If something seems suspicious, if something doesn't seem quite right, and trust your gut, right? So if something doesn't sit in the pit of your stomach about a particular situation, call law enforcement, call police, call the sheriff's office. I'm sure at this point, given the heightened sensitivity to this situation in this community right now, law enforcement is going to be more than willing to go to your home to check your property if you have reason to believe something may not be right.
Is anyone alive but injured in these incidents?
I don't know at this point. I have heard that there could possibly be a 6th victim who may be hospitalized. I'm trying to get some specifics on that for you right now.
And apologies if you answered this. Can you comment on whether or not he got away with a weapon at this time, or no?
We have reason to believe he's armed at this point. That's the extent of information I have.
Have any animals been brought in for search efforts or anything?
TBI has not, but I don't know about other agencies at this point. Is that all? Great. Again, I really appreciate you guys helping us to get this picture out. At this point, we've got a lot of questions to answer, obviously, about the investigation and the crimes that have occurred. But again, to reiterate, the priority is to get Michael Cummins in custody so we can ask him some questions about what has transpired here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If I'm able to piece together some of those additional details, I'll try to offer that a little bit closer to 10.
You said 5 dead, right?
Yes.
5 dead, 1 possibly injured.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to pin that down.